Well, hello. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the man cave from Moorland Rider. It's been a while, but good news. No plaster. Thumb's working right, so we're back to normal, if there is any such thing as normal. But this is a little bit of, well, a little bit of family history, really. It's a bit of a tentative connection, but it's a country estate, or it was a country estate, just along the road from where I was brought up, and it was part of my patch in the old job. Was this estate, the Swythamley Estate, and one or two points of interest. It was sold off in '79, but I'll cover what it's all about while we're out. I just hope you find it interesting. I mean, it's always been an important part of my life. To me, it has, at least, anyway. And there's a little bit of an adventure involved as well, so see what you think. Anyway, okay, just let me know. Oh, and yes, of course, if you like it, give me a thumbs up, and if you've not already, if you'd subscribe, I'd be ever so grateful. Thanks again. Cheers. Right, ready to roll. The object of today's exercise, well, it's twofold really. I'm trying out a new camera mount on the front of my helmet. I've actually glued it on with this wonderful flexible glue called Sugru. For threefold reasons for the trip. The other reason is that I've changed the position of the microphone inside the helmet, so it's a little bit out of the direct line of my speech, my mouth, so it might be a little less distorted. But then again, it might not, but we'll give it a go anyway. And the third reason is the main reason really, because I've got this idea in my head about another local video to this area. It's not exactly a wonder of the world, but it's certainly a wonder of the Peak District. Is this place? It's a natural gorge, really, a ravine. It's only about 15 feet wide at the widest, but it's about 85 feet deep at its deepest. It's about a mile and a quarter's walk from the road, so as well as anything else, it's a question as to whether or not I can make it when we're back the way it is, but we'll give it a go. And if we do get there, it's not too windy a day, so it'll be a good exercise for the drone. I'm just going to pull onto this lay-by to take in the view. I know we've shown it to you before, but it's an impressive view. So there we are. A little to the left of us, looking straight at it now, is Tittersworth Reservoir, much bigger than it was originally. It was enlarged in the early 60s, late 50s, early 60s to its current size. Then we got the long, or the wide valley of Leekfrith, wide shallow valley, and then directly in front of us is Hencloud, and behind is the escarpment of the Roaches. It's thought that the word the Roaches, the name Roaches, came from the French for rocks, roche. And then up to the right we've got Ramshire Rocks, all part and parcel of the Roaches Massif, shall we say, and effectively the tail of the Pennine chain. south end of the Pennines. So I'll switch off for now. Just passing through Merebrook at the minute. We'll be coming back through Merebrook a little bit later on. About a couple of hours time probably. Nice little village. The pub there, the Lazy Trout, was originally the Three Horseshoes, which I'll tell you a little bit of story about that on the way back. It's only a tiny place, it's Merebrook, so that's Merebrook done and dusted. And in front of us we've got this it's a grassy hill up to our right. It's called Gun Hill. Gun as in the weapon. Although try as I might, I can find no reference to the origin of its name anywhere. This wee hill on the right here, this is it has a little bit of a sinister side, allegedly. This was all part of my patch when I was back in what I call the old job, when I was a local policeman, a local bobby if you like, around here. And always way back. Early 80s. One of my senior officers, I got it in his head that there's a coven of witches that meets here on a semi-regular basis, and he made it his business to find them, and I was the one chosen as the local man to help him out. What he was thinking of doing when he found them, God only knows. But suffice to say, we never came across a coven of witches. Out to our left, it'll be in front of us in a few seconds, there's a Cheshire plain, and then to the left there, slightly pointed hill, is Bosley Cloud. That's all in Cheshire, just over the border. We're going to stay in Staffordshire today. Now at one time, both sides of the road here was land that was owned by the owners of Swythamley Hall, which is over the wall to our left here. Swithenley Hall was the property of the Traffords, because we came over with the Normans back in the 11th century, and it became the property of the Traffords in the 1600s, in the 17th century, and it remained in their ownership until about 1832. Story goes that they were bankrupted through gambling debts, apparently. This was a private chapel, it's now a private residence, but this was a chapel belonging to the owners of Swithamley Hall. Like I say, from the 1600s it was the Traffords, D Traffords, and then they dropped the D, then just the Traffords. Now let's see if we can get in here. It has an electronic gate with a sensor on it, and it is private. I'm hoping we get away with it. Oh, it's not working. Well, the postman coming out. And then I'll go and see the manager. The hall itself, hopefully you'll see, was a stately home, but it's now high quality apartments. Now, as you can see, it's parkland. This is all that's left of the Swythamley Estate, effectively. It came into Brocklehurst ownership in the 1700s. I'm just going to speak to this guy. I think the block on the left hand end, as we look at it, that was added by the Brocklehursts, but the main building itself was as developed by the Traffords. Now, the guy I've just spoken to assures me that there's a button to press to get out. I'm actually hoping there's a sensor that nice to see the automatic gate works. Now I'm going to take a run up through the Swithamley Estate, really, because these farms up this road were all estate farms. They were all the farmers up here were tenants of the estate. And when Sir Philip II died, when he passed on, he had no direct issue, and he had a nephew long way off, and he wasn't interested in taking the place over, and he split it up and sold it off. By and large, the farmers were offered and took up the offer of buying their own farms, so they became farmers in their own right. And the hall, the first of the new owners, was a transcendental meditation group, and they ran it as a retreat for meditators. Not long after I first started working up here, I sort of came down in my police Land Rover and met the manager of the place, Peter Macmillan, and told him the story, and he invited me in and showed me around. And yes, the mats were on the floors for the meditators, but the decor and the furnishings were just as they should be for a place of that standard. It was really special to actually get in there. And a bit of green lane to finish with. That's a bonus. Well, I say finish with. Still got to take a walk across to Lud's Church. We're just coming up to Roach End. The ridge out to the right of us on the skyline is the Roaches Ridge, which was all part of the estate. They owned all the farms that we passed through, the Roaches and Hen Cloud, the rock outcrops over there. Quite a big estate. That's it. Ready for a walk. And the way we're going to walk is that away, out in front of us, where the people are climbing the wall. You see the footpath beyond. Across there about a mile, and then drop down to right to the woods. Down below us is back forest, and Lud's Church, the natural ravine, is within those trees. And hopefully, it's a long time since I've been there, but hopefully there's a decent footpath to it now, because it used to be very difficult to find. But that's Shuttlings Low, directly in front of us on the skyline, as I said a few minutes ago, often known as the Matterhorn of Cheshire. It's a pointed hill. So yes, that's it. Time to go for a walk. We'll start walking and see what we find. I'll switch on a bit later. So here we are. This is the entrance to Lud Church. Lud Church, nobody really knows exactly where the name comes from, but it's thought to be, it was a secret place of worship, or at least those during religious repression. It's not difficult when you're out of breath. Religious repression. It goes in quite a depth, to be honest, but I'm just showing you the entrance for now, and I'm going to try and get some drone shots to show what it's really like. So let's see what happens, how it goes. Now, what I really wanted to do with this video footage, was launch and send it quite high up into the air to get an aerial view down on the top of the ravine. But in actual fact, the undergrowth and the trees are so dense that I'm really not good enough yet to risk flying it through the branches of the trees. So I've had to give up on that idea to a certain extent, and what I'm going to try and do is fly the drone through the ravine itself and follow it through. I've got to take it easy because it's very slippery underfoot, and these things are not cheap to replace, so hopefully with the little bits of manoeuvres that I'm making, you might be able to get some idea at least of just how narrow and how high it is. Yes, it is 60 feet, not 85. I'm prone to exaggeration a little bit. But we'll take it through. On the way through, I have to say, did entertain one or two passers-by, one or two visitors to the ravine, so at least somebody was entertained. Now, as we get towards the far end, you'll notice, no doubt, the steps leading up. It's a little bit, there's some there's some artificial footway because it is so muddy, and the steps at the far end bring us up out of the ravine itself, down to the riverside path, which is not too far away from the River Dane in actual fact, which is the natural boundary between the two counties, between Staffordshire and Cheshire. So, you know, I hope the footage shows what it's like. Like I say, I would have loved to have taken a high view from above, just to give some indication of just how the ravine appears, but it just is so well hidden by the trees and the undergrowth, so it just wasn't possible. Either way, it was worth a try, I'm sure you'll agree. Well, I hope you do anyway. So yes, that was Ludchurch. Really hope the drone footage works, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. But you can see behind me, in fact, you can see it's about 85 feet at the highest point and about 15 feet across. Now just where we're looking, up there, that gap up the top there, way back in the late 1700s I think it was, the Swithamley Squire D. Trafford, the Swithamley was out hunting, the story goes, and he found himself so close to the edge of the gorge he had no choice. He couldn't stop, he couldn't turn back, he had no choice. He had to urge his horse to jump the chasm. And he got to the other side, he managed it okay, lived to tell the tale. And from that point onwards, that particular gap at the top there became known as Trafford's Leap. Like I say, my name is tied up in this place, so it might not be my name in particular, but it's a long way back. Anyway, that's it. So let's go back up to the bike. Well, hopefully done and dusted. Video footage of the gorge. So we go back now a slightly different way and complete the circle almost, I suppose. It's a lovely way back. As I said earlier, this shallow valley, this wide shallow valley is known as Leek Frith. It's a bit potholy, but it's a nice road, it's a nice stretch of road. And out in front of us again we've got Tittersworth Reservoir. this hill we're descending. Again, these cameras, they flatten everything out really. You don't see just how steep they are, but this was I suppose you could say it was the highlight of the Leek Half Marathon that I used to participate in on a regular basis up until the late 80s. Up to the left of us again, you can see in the distance Hen Cloud, and then closer and almost directly to the left you've got a set of buttresses of rock. That's called Five Clouds, that is. There's 5 of them. Local names, of course, that have stuck. Now we're coming down into the flat bottom of Leek Frith now. This is the village of Meerbrook. And the pub, the Lazy Trout. Having said that, back in the 70s, maybe 80s, it's called the Three Horseshoes, and had been called the Three Horseshoes for a long, long time. Some of the village doesn't exist anymore. It's down here on the right hand side, underwater. It was flooded when they enlarged the reservoir. This is Tittersworth again. Yeah, so the pub was called originally the Three Horseshoes. The only thing is, a mile and a half away, in fact less than a mile and a half away, up on the main road that we're coming up to, as the place I pointed out earlier, is the Three Horseshoes, which is more of a restaurant really than a pub. So yes, for a long, long time we had 2 Three Horseshoes less than a mile and a half apart. So something had to change. The good people at Meerbrook changed the name of theirs to the Lazy Trout. Perhaps to avoid getting any unpleasant mail that was intended for somebody else. However, that's it. We're we're retracing our steps, or wheel tracks at least, early on now, so we're on our way home. So I'll say ta-ra for now, and thanks for watching. And as usual, if you hit the thumbs up button, give me a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. 141 now, we're getting there slowly, very slowly. Anyway, so yes, here we are, the Three Horseshoes again.